Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are well. So, what in the blue hell have Chelsea gone and done, eh? You know, some things don't surprise me anymore, but they're still shocking. Do you know what I mean? Well, we're going to get into all of it very, very shortly. But before we do, make sure that you are here later on for video number 2. So make sure you're subscribed, notification bell on, and also make sure you're subbed to the second channel with all the content coming out there, and including the Reddit videos. That's the new home of it. We got a brand new Reddit coming. I think I'm going to put it out on Monday because Reddit Mondays have to make a return. That will be on the second channel. So make sure you guys are there for that. Let's get cracking. What have Chelsea done? Brace yourselves for this, guys. Brace yourselves. I know we like to not really offer very high fees, but this one takes the cake. AC Milan have rejected a bid from Chelsea for Maignan. It was less than £15 million. A final make or break offer is expected on Monday or Tuesday. Okay. Just to give some clarity. As you guys know, yeah, we're all football fans. We all try to keep up to date with the latest. We see what happens and what doesn't happen. And you know that more times than not, the first bid always gets rejected. So don't panic is the message for that. Yeah, don't panic. But offering less, it's not even 15 mil, it's less than 15 mil, is, I know we like to go low, but this is scraping the barrel, lads. Yeah, Chelsea, this one is scraping the barrel. Now, for the ones that don't really know what that means, the barrel, you go all the way to the bottom and you're scraping what's left, basically, right? That's, you're just going for those little leftovers, whatever you can get. Desperate measures, desperate times. That's what we're doing here, Matt. Less than 15 mil. Come on. Now, unless Chelsea are certain that AC Milan will accept a certain number, and they already know that, which happens in business sometimes, you know what the other side are going to accept, so you try and go a little lower, just to, you might as well try, yeah? Because you got nothing to lose. If that's the case, then cool. But honestly, I'm hoping that the next one is just offer 15 mil. Yeah. And any bonus that needs to be added on top as a bonus just to get it over the line, because that is still a bargain. For Maignan, that is still a bargain. A 29-year-old top world-class goalkeeper for 15 mil plus some bonuses is unheard of. But AC Milan are in a sticky situation, and we know that, just like Rafael Leao is now apparently looking to leave. They need to generate the funds. So I get why Chelsea are trying to maybe force AC Milan's hand a little bit here. Maignan also has told AC Milan he doesn't want to renew. He wants to leave. AC know they can't let him go on a free. So it all makes sense in Chelsea's favour. But still, don't scrape the barrel much longer, please. Yeah? Give something that's going to get the deal done, and then we can all be happy and move on. Right? So let's look at what else has gone down here, what has transpired. Check this out. So, Patty, who has been very, very, very solid this transfer window so far, respect to him, has said Chelsea will come back again next week. An improved offer crossing 20 million, if not after the Club World Cup, once the window opens again. Maignan wants Chelsea, and Maresca wants Maignan. That is clear. Maresca doesn't rate any of the 3 goalkeepers we have for the Champions League run. You know what? Fair play. Fair play. If that's the case, Maresca, he knows. And there's more. There's more. Check this out. Maresca last summer asked for Osimhen or a striker, but club didn't give. Somehow finished top 4 with the UEFA Europa Conference League. Maresca asks more now. He wants striker, left winger, goalkeeper, and left back. Up to club now to decide and give. Me, you are no one. Club working on all deals. Crucial 3 days, if not after that. You know what? If this is actually the case, fair play to Maresca. Yeah, fair play. Because I fully agree with everything that's mentioned here in terms of what he wants. I fully agree. Fully agree. And he did deliver. He got us top 4. And we got a Conference League. My season's objectives were fulfilled. So if he's asking for that and he wanted Osimhen, just like we wanted Osimhen, then you know what? Fair play. Maybe Maresca is on the similar playing field as us lot here. Maybe there's more to us that meets the eye. Yeah, when I say us, I mean the fan base and Maresca. Maybe we are more alike than what we maybe thought, right? In terms of ambition and what we want. If the club are gonna give or not give, that's up to the club. If Maresca has fulfilled what he needs to fulfill and he's asking for things and it's basically the same as what we want, then fair play to the geezer. Yeah, simple. And I agree. Everything that is there is what I think we need. I fully agree. Fully agree. So, look, get Maresca the flipping goalkeeper, please. Look, if he's not convinced by any of the three either, then fair play. And I want to leave an asterisk mark on that one with terms and conditions. Yeah? Read the blueprint. This is what I'm about to say. If you're telling me, are you convinced with the goalkeepers that we have in terms of top level, Champions League, Premier League winning level, the goalkeepers that we have? No, of course not. You'd be crazy to think that we do. Even Petrovic. Is he good enough to stay at the club? Yes, I think he's the only one to stay who's good enough to stay at the club. Can Petrovic become a top goalkeeper? Yes, I do think so. Is he ready to be number one? For me, the bare minimum is to have Petrovic as a number one. But can we do better? Yes, Maignan, we can. But I would still have Petrovic there. The others, I wouldn't have at the club. With all due respect, I just wouldn't have him. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Petrovic can actually become a top goalkeeper, I think. I think he can. Is he there yet? No. In order to compete in the Premier League, Champions League, to go back to winning trophies, we need a top-level goalkeeper around here. But I would still have Petrovic remain here as a number two, maybe transitioning into a number one later. Because what I see so far looks good. But the rest, definitely completely unconvinced. So with Maresca on this, if he's actually saying, look, I want to win the flipping title, or I want to win the Champions League, I need a goalkeeper, I fully understand him. That is what we're asking for here. We want the standards coming back into this club. So if this is what he wants, he is helping and aiding us with trying to get the standards back to where they should be. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. So one to keep an eye on here. One to keep an eye on. But it's like I've told you, I think the Maignan deal does happen. I honestly think this is just business. This is just negotiation tactic. This is just trying to get the deal done for as less as possible. But I think Chelsea know what it takes to get it done. Surely they'd be idiots if they don't know what it takes to get this one done. We all know what it takes. Surely they know. Come on. Surely. You know? So we'll see what happens. I do think heading into Monday, Tuesday, we might get a breakthrough. I think Chelsea want this done before the Club World Cup. Because don't forget, we're going to the Club World Cup. And there's top teams there. We want to try and go and win it. Well, we got to show up with quality. So Chelsea will get this done beforehand. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked and flabbergasted if we don't. Considering that we know how important this is to the club. Because they didn't qualify for this ownership anyway, right? But they are the ones that get to reap the benefits. Now, financially, the Club World Cup has so much money in it, it's ridiculous. The further you get down the competition, the better. It's not even like, the Champions League, you get a very good participation prize, let's say, right? Money through the door. And then the more you go on, the more you get substantially. This is one of those freak competitions where you get similar money. Chelsea have a big incentive to go as far as possible in this, at least financially. I don't see how the club don't try and bolster the team up for this competition. Surely. And you know what? It goes hand in hand with having a team ready for pre-season. We're not going to have a long pre-season. I've seen that the club apparently are not going to be looking to go on any tour or anything like that. It's going to be at Cobham, local only, done, because there's not much time. After the Club World Cup, there'll be a short holiday. After the short holiday, there'll be a short pre-season, and then the new season will begin. So I agree with they're keeping it local. No trips, no tours this time. The tour is this competition. So we don't need any more. So that's that. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section below. Much appreciated. Now, Victor Osimhen. Is the saga finally coming to an end? Maybe. Maybe it actually is. Let's get into it. So, Sasha Tavolieri. Today, it's an exclusive. Victor Osimhen reached an agreement with Al-Hilal for $35 million, plus add-ons. Personal terms finished. A deal is now expected to be concluded in the upcoming 2 days. More to follow. On top of this, we have Ben Jacobs saying Al-Hilal have scheduled a medical for Victor Osimhen and are hoping to finalise a deal with Napoli this weekend. Caution remains after 24 hours of twists, but Osimhen is Al-Hilal's top priority before the Club World Cup. They want the Nigerian striker in Paris today to sign. On top of this, Sky Sports, quoting Sky in Italy, have said that Osimhen has now accepted Al-Hilal's contract offer. I think that one is quoting Di Marzio that I showed you guys yesterday. I think. Santiago Una has put this. Victor Osimhen is taking his time on the last offer improved by Al-Hilal. The Nigerian striker is expected to be in Nigeria today. Al-Hilal hope to seal the deal this week, but they are also exploring other options in the attack. Al-Hilal still waiting on breakthrough. So is he going to be in Nigeria or is he going to be in Paris? One of them. What one is it? All right, you know what? This is what it calls for. This is the transfer window. This is what normally happens. Right, flight trackers. Get the flight trackers out, ladies and gentlemen. You know what to do. Flight Radar 24, Flight Aware, all the flight websites. Everyone start tracking, please. Right, start tracking. Let's get to the bottom of this. I want to know where Osimhen is going. Yeah, is he going to destination Nigeria or destination Paris? Which one is it? Is he going to Paris to sign his Saudi contract or is he going to Nigeria to have a break and a think? I don't know. We'll wait and see. But look, like I reckon from yesterday, I've told you this. And if a medical's been scheduled, I think it's about to happen. I think Saudi are finally about to get their man. I think Osimhen is finally about to get his bag. We will see where this one goes. But the Osimhen saga, I think after all this time, after a year, right? A calendar year, let's say, because there was last summer. Now this summer, it's all coming to an end, I feel like. Finally. It's not coming to Chelsea. I'd want him at Chelsea. He's not coming to Chelsea, but I'm relieved it's finally over, you know? Or it's heading there anyway. We'll see. Unless there's any final last-minute twists. Very capable with Osimhen. Anything is possible at this rate. But we'll see. Let me know your thoughts down below. Felix. Benfica have reportedly offered Chelsea 25 million euros for Portuguese international João Felix and hope to register him before Tuesday to include him in their Club World Cup squad. I think Chelsea will ask for more. 25 million I don't think is enough. 25 million euros as well. It's not even pounds here. Chelsea will try and make a profit. On the books. We got him for... What did we get him for? I swear it was 40 million. So somewhere there. I think it was about 40 mil. Or was it 45 mil? What were we doing, man? What were we doing? And I was happy with that deal. But look, I said this at the time. The only reason why we got Felix in, even though I like the player, but the only reason wasn't because of Felix. It was because of Gallagher. Right? And it's obvious. It's so obvious. A blind Stevie Wonder in a basement, as The Rock said, can see what's going on here. So I think Chelsea will try and at least break even on João Felix just to make it look on the books, or maybe at least just get a little profit. We'll see. But Felix will be leaving, just like many other players will be leaving. I think we've got a flipping list of around, 12, 15 players that are going to be bouncing this summer, so we'll see how it's all going to go down. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think he will end up at Benfica? I think that is a logical and wise bet. Probably going back to Portugal. So we'll see. Now, Tottenham. When it rains, it pours at that football club. Yeah, they do one thing right, and then everything else goes wrong. Here's why. Daniel Levy is facing the threat of a Tottenham player revolt, having brutally sacked Ange Postecoglou 2 weeks after winning the Europa League. Right. On top of this, the latest is that Tottenham are prepared to advance in talks with leading candidate Thomas Frank in the next days. Spurs are also approached Roberto De Zerbi in recent days, but he rejected as he wants to stay at Marseille. With this, there is the latest that Tottenham are advancing well on Thomas Frank appointment as new head coach, with more talks to follow next week. The club are optimistic that it will happen. You see, now you've got to ask yourselves logically, because I've heard this argument for Tottenham. I'm going to speak honestly here, not as Chelsea, blue-tinted glasses, ha-ha, Spurs, it's the history of the Tottenham. I'm not going to do that, yeah? So even some will say I just did, but I'm not going to do that, right? I'm going to speak logically. Some have raised the argument that they had to sack Ange Postecoglou even after winning the Europa League, because the league form was so tragic, and if they do keep Ange, the chances are it's going to go downhill. So in order to maintain themselves in the Champions League that they're going to be competing in, they should get someone in new. I hear that logic. That does make sense. Yeah, that does make sense to an extent. You do have to make the case maybe that Ange Postecoglou in the Champions League in a cup competition maybe might have done decent with Tottenham. Don't expect Tottenham to win the Champions League. Let's just be realistic here, right? So how far can you possibly go? But the league form was already tragic, and that was playing Europa League. Can you imagine what it might be like with Champions League? That's the case some have made, and I hear it. That does make sense to a degree. But is Thomas Frank the answer then? Because that's only 50% of the way there. Yeah, you sack the manager because you're playing Champions League, you want to get someone in that can raise the bar. Okay, does Thomas Frank actually raise the bar? I don't think so. So Tottenham, as far as I'm concerned, have shot themselves in the feet here. Now, if they went and got Inzaghi, or they went and got, well, you know, they had Conte and they had Jose and they had all these guys. But I mean, if you went and got someone substantial, some would argue Thomas Frank might do really well. Perhaps, right? We are in an age now where very unlikely managers are getting promotions and, you know, they're performing, right? Where we're in that era. So not to undermine Thomas Frank, but what I will say is I reckon we're going to get much of the same. I think it's a very similar level. Postecoglou, Frank, I don't see much change there. So if you're asking me of a prediction, I think, yeah, Tottenham won't finish 17th. I think they'll make an improvement in the league. They'll get top half of the table, but they'll get knocked out first round in the Champions League, perhaps. That's my prediction. So was it worth it? Or have Tottenham just gone back to type? That's the question here. That's where I think it's going to steer. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, look, this Europa League win, I think was a 1 in a million. I think Tottenham are going to go back to type. They'll improve their league position. They'll start flopping in the cups again. They won't get close to winning anything. They'll try and get top 4 every year, and they'll go back to type. That's just how Tottenham have been operating for years. That's what I think we'll get. So, what do you think will happen with Thomas Frank as the new Tottenham manager? Let me know down below. Cristiano Ronaldo has spoken as we wrap up the video. Check this out. He says, it's practically decided I will not be at the Club World Cup. It's almost decided that I will not take part at the FIFA Club World Cup. Despite receiving many invitations and proposals, the decision is almost made on my side. There have been talks, contacts, but you can't be at all competitions. You have to think short, medium and long term. So despite approaches, it's decided. This is obviously with the fact that he has signed a new deal at Al Nassr. That's not been made official yet, but apparently he has. There were proposals there just for him to participate at the Club World Cup. And you can see why. Because apparently ticket sales are suffering at the Club World Cup. So much so that FIFA President Gianni Infantino has had to reduce the prices of the tickets by 15% just to try and increase some sales. Because the pool of Lionel Messi, and I don't want to make this a Messi Ronaldo thing, but the pool of Lionel Messi hasn't been enough to attract fans at high prices for the Club World Cup. The prices are just too high. Whether there's Messi there or you could get the flipping second coming of Jesus to the flipping stadiums there, realistically, the prices are just too high. So they've had to knock the prices down, which makes sense. And it's true. The prices were stupid. I'm seeing prices that just should not be the case for a football match. It just should not be. That's the way that the game's going. Now, we heard the news that the Saudi PIF are sponsoring the tournament, sponsoring FIFA. On top of this, I think we've got ISO Speed that is helping to promote. We also have news that Fabrizio Romano is now helping to promote the FIFA Club World Cup. This is the age we're living in, guys. This is the age we're living in. What a time we're living in. You know what a time we're living in. ISO Speed and Fabrizio are now basically headline pushing the competition to the masses instead of how it used to be. What kind of simulation are we in? This is nuts. It's mental. But goes to show the way that things are going. That is what's going on. But Ronaldo will not be part of the Club World Cup. I've already mentioned this. The total prize money in this competition is 1 billion. The game's gone, isn't it? Let's be honest. The game's gone. The game is actually gone. The game's never coming back to how it used to be. It's sad, but it's also very uncertain. You just don't know what's going to happen next. It's like, I'll give you an example, the 48-team World Cup. Actually, let me show you this. Let me show you, because I've seen the chart of the projected pot so far as things stand, right? Here they are. When you look, because Italy yesterday got battered to Norway 3-0, so they were projecting the pots as things stand right now, and it looks like Italy could be in pot 4. It's crazy. These are the teams that are more than likely to qualify as things stand at the moment. But I mean, we've got Jamaica there, for example. You know, Norway will be qualifying for the is it the first time, I think? You know, Panama are showing up there. I mean, big up Algeria there. I'm very happy at that. All the African teams are going to be there, I'm pretty sure. We've got an extensive list of South American teams that are looking like they're going to be there. You know, it's crazy. So this is where, look, a 48-team World Cup might actually be a really good thing. I've seen these list of teams. I'm going, you know what? This might actually feel more like a World Cup this time when you get countries that don't normally participate that are there. Maybe. So this is why I mean the game is changing. It's going in a direction that we've never really seen it go before. But there might be some good things. There are some bad things, for sure. For sure. Like I've already mentioned, ticket prices, you know, the way that news is now publicized, all of this. But the money, 1 billion prize money, the game's gone. But little things like this could be the few positives we actually get. So let's see how it's all going to pan out. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you're here for video number 2 later on tonight, and I'll see you then. Subscribe, notification bell on. Catch you later. Take care and peace.